when you feel on the spot,
Deacon
like
hiccup show.
the hiccups go away. My teacher used to have anybody hiccuping, she would just be like, stand up right now, hiccup again for everybody. And literally 100% of the time, you didn't hiccup again. It was crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Haven't heard that one.
So just make sure you feel the pressure of all these eyes looking at you on this recording, and the hiccups will go away.
Well, I sure as hell felt it in the Novice Nerd recording.
It's weird, huh? It seemed like it'd be weird doing it by yourself.
It was so bad.
It really is.
It went so poorly.
Hope.
Remember the first time I recorded without pressing record, I went through the whole script.
Oh, God.
Good practice.
Good practice. Yeah. So last night, we got to travel back in time about 20 years.
Exact or
not exactly.
Almost exactly. Close.
It was close. Couple months off or so, but 20 same theater actually. Okay, so I guess I'll say what I'm talking about first. Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King was brought back into theaters this week on April 13th. It was out in limited theaters, but they for some reason decided, I guess again because of the 20-year anniversary, we're going to bring it back into theaters. So we went to the theater, and it was actually the same theater I saw this movie in 20 years ago in Placerville, because this was the original Placerville movie theater, but it barely survived. It went out of business for a minute, but they revamped it. It's got the nice luxury recliners and everything again now. And so it was a trip. We were in the same exact movie theater watching Return of the King again in theaters last night. And we went into it. I don't know. Did you know it was the extended edition when we were going in? You did? Okay. I don't think I was fully conscious of that fact until we started watching and one of the deleted scenes started happening. And you said that. You're like, isn't this a deleted scene? I was like, yeah. Not processing it. And then like 30 minutes into it, I was like, hold on. Go to check the time. Yep, it's a 4 hour and 20 minute runtime. We started that movie at 7 p.m.
They played a Dungeons and Dragons role playing Lords of the Ring game, and it was like a full 10-minute brief overview of the entire game. It was like, I was like, I turned to him, I was like, are we gonna watch this entire role play game play out right now? Yes, we are, and we did.
Almost did. The weirdest thing about that, real quick, they were all a bunch of random people, except Deborah Ann Wolf was there, who is also known as Karen from Daredevil. For some reason, Karen from Daredevil is in this group of random people playing Lord of the Rings D&D before the Lord of the Rings movie, and it was the first time I've seen her since Daredevil season 3. But again, it's not like it was actors. There wasn't celebrities that were in this game. It was just a bunch of random people, and then all of a sudden Karen from Daredevil pops up. But anyways, not important. What's important is we got to see those massive Ride of the Rohirrim, all the Black Gates. I mean, everything that went down in theaters again, and it was just it was awesome. That part of it was awesome. So I wanted to ask, JD, you saw it in theaters, correct?
Oh yeah, everyone.
Yeah, okay.
Christmas tradition.
Yeah,
it's like I said, one of the best trilogy of all time for me. Definitely the movie or series I would pick to rewatch again from a perspective of not having seen it. That's absolutely. So even experiencing it in theaters again sounds awesome. Couldn't do it. I got 3 kids at home, 1-year-old twins. Couldn't do it. Nope. No drinks, just a hot dog. So, but it's a struggle to make it out to the theaters.
Well, this was my first time seeing it in theaters. So that was an amazing experience. Our seats were vibrating in certain scenes when the bass was going off, and just seeing all the battles on this huge screen, of course. It was great for the first time.
And what an epic conclusion. Epic. Like, God, dude, how do you nail, like, it's hard to nail even a third act of a good movie, but nailing the conclusion of this trilogy was so magical.
Yeah. Nailing it to the level of, again, as we mentioned in a previous episode, 11 out of 11 Oscar Award winners in the year that it came out. Just unheard of, incredible, and rightly deserved. Like, it should have won everything, because the the cinematography, watching that again in theaters, like the pan outs as it's looping around Saruman's tower in Isengard, and it's looping around the White City across the fields of Pelennor. It's just insane. I'm sitting there thinking, how the hell did they film this?
Even Saruman's death in the deleted scene when he's falling off the tower and it's showing him fall as he's flipping. That's like you turned to me. That's an unfinished deleted scene. It has like such amazing cinematography.
Yeah. Like not unfinished to the point that Revenge of the Sith had certain scenes where you could still see the green screen, but Clone it wasn't Wars. Mastered. Yeah. And
you
it
can
was
tell
just
the difference.
Like, I'm sitting there going, yeah, you can. But you're watching all this and I'm just thinking, this is better than all the CGI in Marvel that I've seen in the last three movies. This is 20 years ago, and the VFX look way more realistic here than they do now. And that's just a sad state of affairs. But there's one more opportunity, and this one would be cool. So I saw that in theaters, but we have Star Wars Return of the Jedi coming back into theaters April 28th. This is going to be fun editing all these hiccups out, or we just live in whatever. April 28th, though. And obviously we didn't get to see that in theaters. Yeah, so we're too young. We didn't get to see it in theaters. We didn't get to see any of the original trilogy when they came out in theaters. So we get a chance to go back and actually check it out on the big screen in theaters. So we're definitely going to be looking for that. Hopefully it's in our town. Have you looked into that at all, Caleb?
Go daily. And I even tweeted at Regal today from the Why So Sidious account. Just, not I didn't start any shit. Don't get crazy. I just, asked very politely, hey, because I think Cinema West, it's one of the other companies.
Cinemark?
Yeah, actually, you're right. Someone tweeted at them and they replied saying, look on our website this evening for tickets. So I'm going to try and look tomorrow morning, and hopefully they're posted at least at, the theater we saw Lord of the Rings or the next closest one, which is about, 15, 20 minutes away.
Bro, I'll drive to Folsom if I need to.
Right.
That Palladio has nice seats, man.
Right.
Just gotta make sure to not fall asleep. I was starting to pass out in Lord of the Rings, but I ran out to my car and chugged a yerba, which is a highly caffeinated beverage. Came back in, made it right past the Black Gate scene, and then next thing I knew, my head was almost touching Leb's shoulder as Frodo was being picked up by the Eagles. He's like, "You want to go?"
Baby.
It's like, yeah, we don't need to watch these endings again.
These 6 endings.
Welcome back to Why So Sidious, a nerd podcast where we cover, break down, analyze, theorize, and just overall discuss all your favorite nerd content out there. Here with me tonight are my co-hosts Jeremy Darr and Caleb Culver, and we will be diving into episode 7 of season 3, The Mandalorian. Before we get into that, as always, we would love it if you followed us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Why So Sidious Pod, and join our YouTube page. Go ahead and subscribe. It's free. We're adding videos to it daily, and we're trying to grow our presence there. And quick shout-outs, real quick. We wanted to shout out the Sidebar Cantina. Just wanted to talk about them because we came up listening to them. Me and Caleb actually ended up finding these guys when we were going through the Star Wars novels, the audiobooks. I believe it was Bane was the first one that I listened to of their coverage of that episode. So, yeah, you got Darth Roscom and Dave Martin over there, a couple of fellow, honestly, I actually don't know if they're active duty or not, but fellow Air Force, airmen. But yeah, so they gave us a shout out a few weeks ago, and it was one of the most exciting things just because, again, we grew up, or we came up listening to these guys. They were part of the inspiration, and getting a shout out from them was pretty sweet. They used to be all things Star Wars before they made their change to Sidebar Cantina, but so I want to give them a shout out. And also real quick, Lights Camera Rant. A man named Lee over there runs a podcast kind of covering similar stuff. Nerd enthusiast down in Australia. Who knows? Maybe we can get some of these guys on the show down the road. And yes, if you are wondering, that is the second podcast we've mentioned from Australia. Can I say they just got dope people down there, I guess. First being Cheers Big Ears podcast, we mentioned in a previously unreleased episode, which we'll be getting out there. But who knows? We may be bringing them on in the future. They happen to be nerds themselves, Star Wars mainly among them. He was even talking to me about getting a Revan tattoo at one point, which would be freaking sweet. But yeah, so just wanted to shout out again our fellow podcast hosts and everybody out there that we're making friends with on social media.
Down there or down under?
Down under. I'll have to ask
them if they came from a land down under.
They're pretty far from China. Let's just start doing president impressions again. Let's just get into that. All right, but anyways, let's get to the main reason we are here today to talk about The Mandalorian, Chapter 23, The Spies, which kind of connotes multiple, not kind of, it does, which obviously the first is Elia, but we have some theories about who that second spy could be, which we'll get into. Third. But first, how about we throw a quick summary your way? Could be third, could be 7. Honestly, maybe 8.
Could 8?
Mando's the spy. That's why they
I could see that being a real possibility.
What about 10, though?
I could see that happening.
All right. So here we go. The episode opens up with an absolutely terrible person reporting to Moff Gideon before he goes to an Imperial officer meeting, and they all discuss their plans to revive the Empire, including a couple of juicy Easter egg appearances. And in yet another push to heal what the sequel trilogy did to people, Project Necromancer is thrown out to explain the somehow to Palpatine's return. After talks of Thrawn and cloning, we head back to a Mandalorian pissing contest on Navarro. After this meeting, we get the revival of IG-11, kind of. Bo gets a crew of Mandalorians to go back with her and explore the surface of the planet of Mandalore, and our first hint at the armorer being Sketch? Is she a spy? Who knows? We go back to Mandalore and search the surface as the Mandalorians are greeted by a Mandalorian pirate crew. Are they spies? Who knows? After an emotional scene between Din and Bo, the pirate crew lead the Mandalorians to the Great Forge, at which they are caught up in an Imperial trap led by Beskar-clad stormtroopers and a Mandalorian armor-equipped Moff Gideon. The Mandalorians are separated, Mando gets captured, and Paz Vizla meets his fate via 3 Praetorian guards. Ring the bells for our boy Paz. Real quick, I wanted to know, so you guys, Lub got some spoilers for this episode coming in. There was a point at which I had to take my headphones off, and you were telling JD something about what was coming in the next episode. So I got to ask, I'm very curious, what were you telling him when I hit some of the spoilers?
Not the entire, but like him talking about Thrawn and stuff. Okay. I can't remember if they saw the entire episode or just the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, they got 10 minutes of celebration, so it was the opening 10.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
Which makes sense.
Jon Favreau comes out, takes a bow, everyone cries.
Let's talk about that Imperial meeting real quick, though. It was the first thing we saw, but there was some exciting stuff. So we've been talking about Heir to the Empire a lot, about in our top 5 Star Wars novels episode. Go ahead and check that out. We released it. It happened. We did it. But a main factor... Actually, no. This dude's in the Thrawn canon books, isn't he?
No.
Yeah. Paleon or whatever.
Is he he's heir to the Empire. He's heir to the Empire.
Only heir to the Empire.
I shouldn't have doubted myself. I was right the whole time. Captain Pelion shows up. He's the main subordinate of Thrawn in Heir to the Empire in that series. He's an Imperial officer, and he plays a pretty big role in the trilogy. He comes up. His role grows more as the story goes.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of a second, his right-hand man for Thrawn.
He is that guy. And in those Heir to the Empire books, you're getting his point of view.
True.
For those Thrawn scenes.
True.
He seems like he seems like a good guy in those Heir to the Empire books. So in the Heir to the Empire, check out our upcoming study guide for the Ahsoka show. Thrawn is a villain. He's much more of a villain in Legends than canon, and Pelion is the kind of good guy on his shoulder, keeping him easy. So in this universe, it seems like Pelion's pretty bad. He doesn't seem like he's like in control. He knows what he's doing at least, but he doesn't seem like a good guy. But he's on the Empire.
I wouldn't say he was a good guy in Heir, but I know what you mean. He seemed like he had morals. He was an Imperial officer, but yes, he had reasoning. Yeah. He had some morals. He had a code. It seemed like, at least he wasn't a complete scumbag. Which he still could have those features in this. We didn't get too much out of him other than just talking about his plans for the cloning. But that was cool. And did you guys catch the other Easter egg?
Oh, Hux's dad.
Yeah, the other officer that he was talking to about that plan is General Hux's father, Brendel Hux. And he was actually played by Domhnall Gleeson's brother. So the guy, Domhnall Gleeson, is the one who plays, Armitage Hux, which is his first name. Funny enough. But yeah, so we got two pretty big Easter eggs on Imperial officers there. And I loved this scene. It was just, it felt like, where the hell has this been? Like, this should have been something that happened midway. Yeah. I get we were building it up, and, you know, we had the mystery of the TIE bombers destroying Bo's place, but, like, this should have came a couple episodes earlier. Like, this should have been what the season was wrapped around. Mandalorian drama between two different factions and the Imperials quietly growing in the shadows. Like, not episode 7, but...
No, that should have been episode 3. Like, get us to where the story's going. This is what we were waiting for the whole time. I don't know if it saves the season for me, but it is definitely exactly what I wanted to see in Mandalorian. Probably a top 5 Mandalorian episode out of any season. Like, I'm going to blow it a little out of proportion. It's not like this is the next Empire Strikes Back, but dude, that's what I like. This is what I was wondering. What is the political climate here? The New Republic's in charge, but of course there's villains underground. So you have the Empire underground, like they don't want to reveal themselves. And they're like building their power underneath the New Republic's nose. Right. That's sick. And that Thrawn's like this huge mystery. He's not like a threat that everyone knows about. He's like a mystery. Moff Gideon doesn't even believe he's there. Just love, like, you finally understand where the politics are. So just, you needed this.
And it was a good explanation, because you wonder, how the hell did the First Order, how did they just let a new empire come back? Like, what the hell? How does that just happen? And, you know, we find out again, like you said, the reason is because they were secret and they acted like they were just scattered warlords, you know, across the galaxy. But really, they were calculated. They were working together, cooperating with each other. And so that, yeah, it's an explanation to that. But really, all it does is make me see the New Republic even lesser than I already did. Like, they are useless, bro. We haven't seen a useless political...
Seems like it.
Administration since the Biden administration. Hey, but it's just embarrassing, bro. Like, what are they doing? I don't understand what they're doing with the power they have.
To bring it back to where has this been this entire season? Mm-hmm. So once this scene happened in the beginning of the episode, I had this anxiety for the rest of the episode. Like, you know, because everything's going good for the Mandalorians, but you know that Moff Gideon is, you know, getting these forces to attack them. But that is exactly what this entire season has been lacking. So putting that scene earlier in the season, not with like the same plot details, but, you know, just letting people know that Moff Gideon is there, and he's let people know that he's on Mandalore and he's hiding there. So you know that, oh shit.
Yeah.
They're going to go there and it's going to be a trap, but only we know that. But
yeah,
that's what this season was lacking, that type of anxiety.
Yeah, the villain. I don't know. Again, this season was lacking a lot of stuff, and they could have used a lot of these aspects, even just a few of them. You know, you don't have to do just something. Just give us some aspect of this villain stuff. But so Project Necromancer, they mentioned, so that's obviously the explanation to Palpatine's cloning and revival. Like, Necromancer is obviously bringing up the dead and essentially...
Wait a second. Okay. Remember that rumor that came out about Ahsoka? And Thrawn has an undead army of clones.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So, I mean, it's most likely Palpatine. You're right. But there was that thing about Thrawn having an undead army of clones.
That's true. So I'm going to let that roll and do one of my theories. So I got like 3 theories I was going to throw out that came out of this episode. And we're going to do, you know, finale prediction real quick. But that brings up one theory I have regarding Moff Gideon. So yes, they're doing cloning no matter what, whether it's the undead armies that they're bringing back to life or the clones they're bringing back to life, or if Project Necromancer is figuring out how to do the cloning for Palpatine, whatever the case is, it has to do with cheating death. So Moff Gideon made a weird comment about the Dark Trooper armor, saying it was filled by him now. And so some people are saying, well, that just means he was wearing it and stuff. But there's a theory going on out there that Gideon is maybe kind of acting under his own accord, that yes, this cloning stuff is well known by all the Imperial officers, but he's been working with Dr. Pershing on the down low, doing his own thing outside of their knowledge. And So there's a theory out there that Gideon is cloning himself. So instead of Palpatine, which I will say, look at this dude. He 100% thinks he's the main character of this story. This fool thinks everything revolves around him. He wants to be Vader so bad with that black chest piece and the cape. Like, why are you wearing a cape, bro? Moff Tarkin ain't out here wearing a cape. Like, that's not Moff, uniform attire.
Material.
Like, this dude is so all about himself. So I wouldn't put it past him wanting to create a clone army of himself or a clone dark trooper, unit of himself kind of deal. But that's one of the theories floating around with that. And they're Imperials. They're greedy. They're going to do their own thing because they're power hungry and greedy Imperials.
And you also have this disjointed situation where he didn't seem like he knew a lot of the information as he was talking to those Imperialists, like how they were hiding, how this weird Thrawn character is hiding. It seems like he is kind of on the outs.
Yeah, it seems like they don't agree on how to revive the Empire. And you've got all these egomaniacs that were Imperial officers who they're all scraping to not lose that lifestyle they had, the power they commanded as Imperial officers. So yeah, I bet you they're all doing their own kind of deal. I don't know, other than obviously Hux's dad and Captain Pelion, Jesus.
No.
Obviously, they're on the same page with each other.
You're gonna say Noel?
No. Yeah.
Noel. Obviously, Noel came into this episode, and we saw that coming, but you probably didn't. But yeah, they're obviously on the same page with stuff. But I bet you there's like 4 or 5 different plans going on among all those egomaniac Imperials.
Right. So there was that speculation that you got me saying Pelion, that Thrawn and Gideon might be working together. But I do like how they did it to where they're at odds.
I like that.
Which makes more sense with their characters. Because Gideon wants to be that guy, and Thrawn is that guy.
Exactly.
Yes.
Which one of you said that? That you wanted to see him get humbled by Thrawn in the finale.
That was me. I was like,
you guys say that? Okay.
Yeah, it's not like I think it'll happen, but that'd be so cool to have Thrawn come in and sit him down and be like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm the guy here. You're not shit. Like, I will tear you apart.
It would be perfect.
It would be
perfect. Because we've never seen Gideon anywhere else in a medium other than this show. So it would be perfect if Thrawn ended up showing up and just freaking squashed this dude and took over, and I don't know.
And like you said, he's very full of himself, and we haven't seen him put in his place yet. Sure, he lost a battle or two against Din, but that'd be sick to see someone to sit him down and be like, dude, you are nothing.
Right. I was going to say, I really hope when Thrawn returns, I kind of hope he has nothing to do with the First Order's creation. I kind of hope they're going that he has a different plan. Because again, in the books, he was never full Empire. He was always the forefront of his goal was to make sure the Chiss would survive the future and that the Empire wasn't too big of a threat to put his people in danger. So it wasn't always like he was just fully long live the Empire like Moff Gideon. So I'm really hoping they don't tie him into the First Order creation and they kind of keep that separate.
And those are the canon books, not the Heir to the Empire.
Right. Sorry. Right. Yeah. Good
clarification.
That's
his character. Yeah. So one last thing on where I'm bringing the topic. Where has this been? Mm-hmm. So we spent an entire episode with Pershing just to clear Moff Gideon's ass for using him to test on Grogu. That was it. Really, like, we spent that whole episode just so she could clear his mind so Moff wouldn't get in trouble with the other Imperials.
Yeah,
Pershing's wrapped up.
I mean, at this point, it better have been for nothing, because if they waste a single minute of the finale on more of Pershing and Elia's story, like, I don't I don't care. But yeah, obviously, like, if that doesn't end up coming up in season 4, I mean, I'm already a little upset about it. But man, what a joke! Right? Like, what are you guys?
Yeah,
doing?
I mean, it's too late now, but it was just such wasted time, and this is what it all, added up to, basically.
Yeah. The damage is done. Let's go to Navarro. So we leave this Imperial meeting after Moff Gideon walks out of his meeting and walks by these all white clad troopers that we're not sure of what they are at this point. And we get to Navarro and we see a massive Imperial light cruiser flying over the city with a pretty badass looking Mythosaur logo on the bottom. Now, I don't know how much paint that took to put that on the bottom of that massive ship, but that looked sick. That was a super badass visual of that ship just coming over the city with the mythosaur on it. I don't know. And the score, that whole scene when they're landing and they're all getting out of the ships and it's got that kind of tribal intense score going, that was badass. The vibe of that scene was one of the best scenes in the whole season, just for that reason. It felt like that's what we should be feeling when we see Mandalorians, these epic warriors coming together on screen. That's the feeling we should have had. And that was not the feeling we got during that covert training scene where they were all just firing blasters at the lake and like looking like cosplayers. This is the shit I wanted to see with Mandalorians.
So I thought that was, well, did you say they were Imperial starfighters?
They had that. So that's Moff Gideon's light cruiser that they're flying in. Because remember at the end of season 2, they arrested him or whatever, arrested him. They captured him and they had that light cruiser.
That's right. Yeah, I thought it was the Empire showing up to invade. So I'm wondering why everyone's not panicking and like suiting up for battle. I was like, everyone's just chilling out. And then on the second watch, I realized it is the Mandalorian. So that took hold, like how cool that was. I was like, oh shit, this is just the army gathering together. Okay.
So sick.
I was just thinking, imagine looking out your window and seeing something that covers like 3/4 of the sky.
Yeah.
Like they're so good at portraying the scale in the show. Like definitely better than Kenobi. You know, Kenobi had even that Vader scene where he was force grabbing the ship. Like it didn't have the same scale as, you know, like the size, and it's a smaller ship obviously too, but you know what I mean. That show felt more contained.
When the light cruiser, I just love it. Was so I was just gonna say it was small. It's way smaller than the Star Destroyer, but they still, like you said, made it. They brought that scale to life. Like you felt trumped by it. It's just like, oh shit.
And the score was great. I also love the Moff Gideon score. I'm glad they brought that back. That brings anxiety to just the high pitched.
It feels Empire
ringing.
It feels like a new ominous version. Empire. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The actor, like I loved Gus in Breaking Bad, but he just overall doesn't do it for me. The way Gus did, how does he nail Gus so well? And for me, it doesn't work that well as Moff Gideon. Like it's good enough writing, especially with season 1. I think it was a little better with Moff Gideon, but I'm just saying I like that actor. Calm. I think he nailed Gus. I don't know if he's nailing Moff Gideon.
I really liked him in the previous seasons and all of his other, appearances, but in this episode, a couple of his line deliveries were a little off. Like when he was describing his armor and stuff, he's like, "This is Beskar alloy," and it felt like kind of like
flashy,
too flaunty. I don't know. It felt a little off. So I get what you're saying. In this episode, there were a couple times where it felt a little corny, maybe or something, but. I still like him.
I would rather him own like in Star Wars, just own a fast food chicken shop, and they don't know he's part of the Empire, and he runs it from there.
That's where he was holographing himself in. He was in the back of freaking what is that? El Pollo Hermanos or something,
something like that.
Oh.
I've never seen Breaking Bad, but I have seen like the first 4 seasons of Better Call Saul.
You've seen more than I have of Better Call Saul. Who are you? I don't even know you.
Know.
Just one of the greatest shows of all time. That's all. And you're not missing much.
You know what, JD? It's fine. Once Robert Downey Jr. doesn't show up in Secret Wars, we're done with this guy. He's fucking out of here. That's wild. Better Call Saul is a prequel, so I guess it doesn't ruin anything.
Let me say, all right, how about this? If you had to prioritize Daredevil or Breaking Bad, which one are you going to start today if you had
Daredevil. I'd do Daredevil. I think Breaking Bad's overrated.
Me too, but what about you, Love, who hasn't seen either?
Good point. Sorry.
I would watch Breaking Bad.
I would say Breaking Bad's fair. You have to experience it just because it's one of the best shows. Overrated, maybe, yeah. But really
it's still great. Yeah. It's still great. A lot of people say it's the best show ever. And I remembered it that way too, because it was incredible watching it come out. But my first time I rewatched it, I was like, there's a lot of parts I'm not crazy about. Like, it's still really good again, but there's some stuff that's goofy as hell. I can't stand Skylar and Marie, like all of their scenes. I know I'm coming off whatever as a misogynist, but they're just horrible characters. They're just written horribly. They're just obnoxious.
Slows the show
and they
down.
just ruin things. And they're those characters who make dumb decisions that stress you out. And it's like, why did you do that? Like, so anyways,
well,
huge tangent there, but yeah,
they kind of represent the idea of but crazy American society overthinking every little thing and thinking they have to get into the drama and handle it themselves. They totally represent that ridiculous ideal.
Yeah, and I get that Skylar, her husband sells and cooks meth, so I get it. You're going to be a little upset, but it's not even that. I don't know. Anyways, it's a great show. I just don't think it's the greatest show ever. But to go back to Giancarlo Esposito, I do know what you're saying, but I kind of feel like it's intentional because the Imperial officers in the original trilogies were meant to imitate the stuck-up, snobby British officers from the Royal Navy and everything from England's military. Like they were representing the snobby British military officer. And so I kind of feel like he's leaning into that. Like the way he says everything is super, it's extra. He goes a little over the top with the acting, I feel like, with it too. And it comes off a little corny and just goofy at points. So some of his lines, I agree, in this episode, they were way worse than the first two seasons. I liked his first appearance in season 1. So it does feel like he might be going a little bit more over the top with the snobby Imperial British officer kind of deal. But it's still working for me. But I understand that for sure.
Back to the roots. Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah. So we get past the Mandalorians. We get to Greef Karga, and he's got a little gift. He's got a little gift for Mando. And it's IG-12. So I wasn't crazy about this one. Let's throw it to you real quick, JD. What did you think of IG-12?
I don't understand the significance of it. Might have been just a toy sale thing because it didn't play any role.
Yeah.
It seems like this whole KK Jon Favreau thing might be right, where there's nothing really for Grogu to do in this season.
No.
So they're like, and I mean, he didn't need IG-11 to go to Mandalore. That kind of was a waste.
It made
of
it
time
harder.
as well. Like, yeah, right. So there's been a couple things in this season where it didn't really. The time was wasted. It was a waste of time, basically. Like they paid it off, but it was a waste of time. But it was kind of cute to see Grogu.
It's always cute.
Get in there.
It's always cute. Nobody's disputing that.
He hops in and immediately says no. Yes. No, and then he's a natural. Like he's fucking immediately walking around, stealing food, going ham,
eating babies.
But I was thinking, dude, what did Luke teach this kid for 2 years? Like, 2 years under Luke's training, and this is what he's doing.
Still just cares about eating and stealing. Like,
right. And Din's
Lizzo
like,
cheat.
I am not okay with this. Like, I'm going to turn this van around.
It turned into a sitcom with the whole dad thing. Right. I am not. Yeah. And it, again, like you said, it didn't help him. It made him more of a liability. The cradle he was in, he escaped danger on his own by flying up and dipping. That monster broke out, and Paz and Din had to grab each arm of the robot and fly him out of there. Like, he literally is just a liability. He doesn't have guns that he's shooting. It's not like he's got crazy ass guns that IG-11 had and was like, and could at least contribute more and fire weapons. Like, he's literally just a liability in the IG-11 suit. It just seems so unnecessary to me. And I totally agree. It's just Kathleen made them bring Grogu back in early and force that into Boba Fett. And now there's nothing to frickin' do with him. So they're just having to find something new. Like, well, we can't have him floating around in the same carriage again. Hey, let's put him in a droid. Like, okay. You're just wasting such a cool character, but super cute. Super cute. That whole scene where he's like, no squeezy, bad baby. Like, I love it. It's cute. It's cute as hell. And he's saying no. And it's just
Grogu was immediately excited to see him. Just running over.
He shot him down real quick, said no. But yeah, it's just, we got the adorableness as always, but the whole thing just seems super Kathleen Kennedy unnecessary.
Yeah. Hey, Mando gets it. He agrees with us.
Yeah. He's not with this. All right, let's get to the meat. We go to Mandalore. Bo asks for people to volunteer to go to the surface, so they gather up everybody. And she gives us a mission about her true story about Moff Gideon. and nobody really knew. And she, they go, well, we wouldn't surrender, and he bombed all of us. And she goes, I did surrender, actually. We were all dying. And that's a huge admission, because the Mandalorian way is war. It's not surrender, So her saying that was a risk. Yes, she did it to save Mandalorian lives, but it was a risk of them losing respect for her. And she says that, and that was pretty crazy. It was pretty intense. She says, she surrendered, and Moff Gideon just lied, of course, and wiped out everybody regardless, and took the Darksaber. So
I lied.
You said you would stay away. And she says, our people have suffered time and again from division and squabbling factions. Mandalore has always been too powerful for any enemy to defeat it. It is always our own division that destroys us. Which gave me major Targaryen vibes. The House of the Dragon cannot be crumbled or whatever. The only thing that can defeat the House of the Dragon is the dragon itself. So that's major vibes. But I thought it was a cool speech and a little exposition into everything that happened the night of the purge.
It's a perfect time to read Revan. I love it because they go into detail about how the Mandalorians split up after they lost the mask, and the only reason they weren't a formidable thing against the Empire was because they were all divided. And yeah, that's exactly what she said.
They've been divided since then.
Yeah, it's almost like they're pulling from that book sometimes, except the Mandalore mask is the Darksaber.
Dude,
and we found out how Moff Gideon got the Darksaber.
Yeah. Well, he just took it from her when she surrendered.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but we didn't really know exactly how he got it.
Right. Yeah. Right. She just surrendered it, and
she just gave it to him, basically. Yeah.
So I don't know. I just love this whole dynamic between these two Mandalorian factions, where they're actually listening. They're hearing each other out. And they're finding this common ground that they have when they thought for so long there was no common ground and they could never, be with them, and they were disgraceful, yada, yada, yada. And I was just like, bro, this is great. It shouldn't be shoved into 5 minutes. We should not have this entire centuries of conflict between Mandalorian factions being resolved and deciding to unify in a 5-minute to 10-minute portion of episode 7. Let this be the whole season. What have we been doing? it pisses me off. It does. I just don't get why we haven't been doing this and delving into this type of stuff since episode 3. This is what we're here for. The whole Mandalorian aspect of everything. And again, it was great, but you squeezed it into 10 minutes. It's just a shame.
Yeah, you should have. They should have portrayed that division between different factions to make us realize how divided they were, how they apparently hate each other in a way,
right?
They're like rivals, literally in a civil war kind of. So they should have portrayed that, is all I'm saying. Instead of the whatever we did for the past 5 episodes, just give us a bunch of other Mandalorian factions that have a bunch of animosity towards other Mandalorian factions, so that way we realized how powerful it was when they came together.
Exactly. You do that earlier in the season, you can actually show us that hate and that animosity they have, and show us them progressing and finally coming to that common ground before going to Mandalore to do this mission. I'm here for it so much more than chasing malfunctioning droids on some random planet with Lizzo, and it just doesn't make sense. I don't know.
But all the animosity, there's a lot on Bo's shoulders to try and bring this together. It was cool how Din kind of pulled the Jon Snow. He kind of reminded me of Jon Snow
move.
Submitting to Daenerys and pledging fealty to her. He says. But it was really cool from him, because this was, we've been kind of shitting on Din this season, rightfully so. He's like, it doesn't matter, if you failed before, or if you're the right or wrong. You have honor and loyalty and character, and your song hasn't yet been written. That was a great scene.
It was such a Game of Thrones line. Your song has not been written, and I'll serve you until it is. Totally is a Game of Thrones line. But it was better than Jon Snow's, I don't want it. I never wanted it. You're my queen. It was better. It was more well written, which is surprising for Star Wars and dialogue. This was the first time in The Mandalorian. No. Okay, I got emotional in the finale. Last season. This is the second time in The Mandalorian I've actually felt pretty strong emotion. I think I was tearing up a little bit when I don't know about tearing up, but it was pretty close when he said that. And you see Bo's astonishment to like hearing this. Yeah. And, you know, you think back to their first introduction in season 2 where she was just, oh, you're one of them, you know, and all she had was disgust and loathing towards this man. And now he's swearing fealty to her. And you could just tell, great acting by Katie Sackhoff. Like, she reacted great to this. And it was just a really meaningful, well-performed scene. I'm gonna give it to Brandon Wayne. I know Pedro's the voice, but Brendan was under the suit, and he actually responded to something I was posting up there about this scene and was talking about that this was a blast to film this scene. And so you got to give a shout out to him. I know everybody, you know, gives love to Pedro Pascal, but, you know, Brandon Wayne and I feel bad. I forgot the other guy's name. There's 2 of them though, but they're the ones really bringing this character to life. And they brought some to that scene as well. And it was just a good scene. It was a really good scene. And it's a rarity in The Mandalorian. You don't see that type of scene a lot in this show. So I believe this scene was the official passing of the torch. Yeah. I believe this scene was when Bo-Katan became the Mandalorian and who this show is about. Because a lot of the main arguments online with people have been saying, well, no, the theme song plays every time Din does something. Like, it's his show. And it does. It plays when he hits people with the Naboo starfighter and everything. But he swears fealty to Bo, and as she's reacting and turning around, it played the Mandalorian music with her on screen, not Din. And this just totally felt like, obviously we've been saying it all season that Din has not been the main character this season, but this felt like the official handing off, which leads to a theory I have that's going to happen next episode. I think probably a lot of us do. I won't say it yet, but I just, it felt like it was the passing of the guard.
When the episode was over, the music that played was not the Mandalorian theme. I think it was Grogu's.
Really?
But I think that's the first episode this season where Mando's theme hasn't played as the end credits roll.
I didn't even catch that. I stopped watching as soon as it ended this time.
Because I always wait for it and then, you know, kind of bob my head and
stand up,
jot a couple notes down,
start shaking sticks and shit, just getting real tribal with it.
Yeah. I was ready and it didn't play. It was I think it was Grogu's theme.
Damn.
So.
Hey, by the way, did you guys notice another? It's not a cameo because he's not that famous, but we were just talking about Breaking Bad. Did you notice the pirate Mandalorian, the survivor Mandalorian, not a pirate really? But did you notice it was Skinny Pete from Breaking Bad? Like,
he looked like Christian Bale's character from The Machinist.
The Machinist,
but he never gained weight again.
That's so. So before we get to the Imperial attack, we get Paz and Axe playing chess, which I actually love that scene. I kind of, we see them sit down because they've been staring at each other this whole time. They're unifying. Like, they're the 2 alphas and they can sense it in each other. And so they're just staring at each other the whole time. They're playing chess, and Paz just in meathead fashion gets up and pulls a knife on him. Like, just totally steps it up. And Axe is like, really? Like, really? Are we doing this? And then they start going at it. But it was just another cool display about Mandalorian culture. And I thought it was a cool dynamic between the 2 characters. And kind of brought... Oh, Grogu was the one who broke that up. Actually, I thought that part was kind of goofy.
I like that scene.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, because that Jedi don't fight like this. Like, Jedi fight enemies. Fair. Like, they don't fight each other. And that is, like, Mando keeps saying that line, I didn't teach him that.
Right.
But Luke did teach him that Jedi only fight when they have to. You don't fight for fun, only when it's necessary or defense.
Okay. You made me like that scene a little more because of that Luke teaching thing. I just was thinking...
I really like that scene.
In my head, I was like, he's a Mandalorian foundling, so why are they okay with a Mandalorian stepping in and stopping it when that's against the code? But that's fair. And obviously he's a baby. It's not like they're going to take... Well, he's older than all of them, actually. But
right. But Axe probably has seen Yoda before at one point in his life. So he's like, this fucking, young Yoda is stopping us right now. Like, that, this has to mean something.
Maybe, or at least Bo, right?
Right. Bo probably told him
Yoda didn't go out much, but I guess.
Right.
But yeah.
It's not the Jedi way.
So get those pirates leading them to the Great Forge, and we get the Imperial attack. And I knew it was a trap as soon as, they came out and they start shooting them, and then the stormtroopers start running away, and they're just leading them down paths. And I was like, okay, they're obviously leading them in a trap. And then you get to these finished hallways and everything. It's like, oh shit, this is an Imperial base trap. That's not what I didn't see the Imperial base coming. I thought there'd be people ambushing them, but I did not expect an entire Imperial base there. But we see these white troopers dropping in wearing the Beskar alloy. And this was actually a nod to Boba Fett and his origin. So this wasn't, so a lot of people were saying, well, this is the prototype First Order, whatever. But first off, the First Order didn't wear Beskar. So no, this is a totally different faction. But originally, George Lucas designed the suit we now know to be Boba Fett's, but it was all white. And the intention was to have an elite group of super commando stormtroopers, and they would have donned Boba Fett's Mandalorian armor. So that's what was going to happen. There was going to be a bunch of all white Boba Fett armor, and they'd be a special expert, group of stormtroopers in the original trilogy, but it was too expensive. So then they ended up changing it. They made it one character, Boba Fett, and then I don't know how they decided to go with the camo coloring of it. But so this is a nod to Boba Fett and his initial origin and what they wanted to do. But they would have been commando stormtroopers is what George Lucas wanted to do. But they looked a lot like Gar Saxon's group from Rebels. So Sabine fights Gar Saxon, the leader of these white Beskar-clad Mandalorians for the Darksaber and everything. And Gar Saxon actually wears a helmet that's got the Mandalorian horns on it. So he's another villain that wears a Mandalorian helmet with horns on it, which we've been talking about the armor. We'll get into that in a bit. But yeah, so the white troopers, what do you guys think of that?
All I have to say about that is they fly now?
Oh, God.
They fly now.
God. So stupid. They've been flying since the Clone Wars.
But just about the armor or that kind of whole action scene, because there was some pretty dope scenes where Mando flips that guy around and just executes him with 4 shots to the back of the head.
Oh, Paz broke a dude. He snapped a dude's neck. He just jumped down and just snapped a guy's neck. No, I was wondering if he had a knife. I thought he might have slit his throat. On one of them, he just grabbed it and twisted that shit. He full on snapped a dude's neck on one of those scenes.
Dude, that was, yeah.
But no,
it was sick.
I more so meant the armor and the troopers themselves. Like, did it work for you guys?
Okay. It was mid. It wasn't great. It was nothing special.
I'll just say there's so many derivatives of stormtroopers now. So it's just getting a little too much. Like I would honestly really just appreciate stormtroopers or clones. It's just too many different things. Now you got dark troopers and the black ones and the white ones. Now they're flying. And now they got Beskar. So it's
death troopers.
It makes sense for the story. It's just another derivative, another suit. So, but the action scene was sick. That's what I loved. That was some good action. A lot of good choreography, a lot of fun, like season 1 style action. So I didn't really care about the suits, but the action made up for it.
Straight up. I didn't mind the variation just because there have been some, and they were obviously not this much. But in the original trilogy, they had scout troopers who had the different visors of the stormtrooper, and they had the snow troopers and heavy troopers. But yeah, no, there's 4 or 5 times as many now. I thought it would look cleaner if it was matte. This is such a freaking massive nitpick. But the armor itself, it just looked super fake, all white and glossy
shiny
like that. So I think it would have looked dope if it was like matte white, just like a solid white looking Beskar looking armor.
Yeah, like I want the more industrial look. Same with Moff Gideon's look, just too shiny and bulky. Like I like that industrial look, that kind of the Mandalorian, but it reminds me of like the original Iron Man suit. Looks way more industrial than his nano thing. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like that. It looks more realistic if it's. That's why I remember seeing like the stormtroopers in The Force Awakens. I loved it because you saw them get dirty. You saw that bloody handprint across Finn's face, all that stuff. I love seeing them. Like it just seems more realistic.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're going to war. They're going to be dirty. They ain't going to be clean like that.
Yeah.
Right. But these ones are brand new because in the opening scene, you see Moff Gideon walking right past them as they're up on the mantle. So they're brand new. So they're shiny.
And it is
give them a year.
alloy. So it's not pure Beskar. So they had to combine it with stuff, which is essentially what that means. You know, it's not pure Beskar. Right. Yeah. So they mixed it up and they used a small amount of it to spread it across. And who the hell's forging that?
Oh yeah. So who's forging it? But
when? That's the thing. When?
No, we'll get to that later.
There's more. Anyways, go ahead.
So the fact that they're in a transitionary phase, the Empire, like, of course they'd be trying new things. So yeah, there's 4 or 5 different stormtroopers and all these things now, but it kind of does make sense. They're fighting Mandalorians, so they want to match their flying. And in general, they're in a transitionary phase, so they're just going to experiment, try new things. They're not just going to keep stormtroopers and just be the only thing that they use.
Right. Well, anyway, yeah, Moff Gideon lands, and he's got horns on his helmet. Yet another, except these are very pronounced horns, more so compared to the armor. But this is another Mandalorian helmet with horns on it, just like the armor, just like Gar Saxon. So you gotta start thinking about that. It's a little interesting, but it was pretty crazy. I thought Din was gonna die there. So the doors split, they get separated, and it's Din, Paz, and somebody else. And I legit was like, might die here. I still think he's going to, but I thought, maybe he would there. But man, what a way to go out for Paz. Brutal. He he's a savage. I feel like he didn't need to do that. I know he said there's too many and he shut the door, but I feel like he I don't know.
You could have
shut it and
walked backwards and started shooting. And I just thought of that. Yeah. I wasn't thinking of that during the episode. During the episode, I was like, that's a good way to go out. That's a good sacrifice. Disney usually does these fake deaths or these lousy sacrifices, but he took out a ton of people. Like he really did.
Savage.
It was savage, so it really did help them get away. But yeah, I could have just kind of started slowly walking backwards. You got this gun. They're not going to come up to you. Like, you're going to be fine. Don't close the door. Just keep shooting them as you slowly walk backwards.
Yeah.
But it worked for me during the show. Like, it really did. That was a good sacrifice. Totally. And I'm glad they had the balls to kill off a semi-main character. Because that was just a straight-up death. He's not coming back. Like, it's nice to have stakes. When the good guys are never dying, there's no stakes or threat or any kind of anxiety like that.
Right. Yeah. I'm not going to say anything past this point, but there was a death in Bad Batch, and I'm just saying I don't think it's actual. I think he's going to come back. I'm not going to say who it was, but a death happens, and just like you were just saying, I think they're going to bring this dude back. Paz, no. Paz is done. Like, those Praetorian guards finished the job.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal.
But he's a hardcore cultist, so that's the way he wants to go out.
Viking style.
He wanted it.
Yeah, full on Viking.
But dude, I was waiting for Grogu to fucking force pull that door open for everyone so they could defend Jyn or something. He didn't do anything.
A moment, at least
which was kind of weird.
Yeah, why is he here?
Sorry. Yeah, that's kind of ties into where they didn't really know what to do with him, because in that situation, your dad is in trouble and you have defended a giant beast against him, and multiple other times have defended him using the Force. And he is tied up, about to get captured, and they're holding guns to his head. Like, you think Grogu is going to do something, not just, like, be scared in the back row at that point?
Right.
Right?
You didn't have a single scene, any offensive scene.
No. He just had to get flown around in his IG-11 suit. Or IG-12, whatever. It definitely was one of the dopest, like, going out shooting scenes in Star Wars. I actually don't even know if we had a going down while shooting scene in Star Wars, but if we have, this one was still better. It was great, dude. Seeing the gun light up red like that was savage. Like, holy crap!
What's his name?
JD
from Rogue One. What's the android's name?
Oh, K2.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
He did a good one.
Yeah, good call. That was an emotional scene too. Climb.
Yeah, that was good.
But any Battlefront 2 fans out there, if you play as the heavy trooper, I think, and you get the special, and it's like the Gatling gun. It's the same exact thing as Paz Vizla has.
Okay.
And he just it reminded me of fucking Battlefront. And he did it till the fucking thing, shattered, and then started beating people in the head with it.
See, I love that aspect of it. That was just super cool. Again, like, it wasn't just your typical just normal blaster firing until, like, that was cool. That was creative. It was fun to watch. And actually, so shout out to at drews.spvm on Instagram. He interacts with the pod a fair amount regarding takes, theories, and a bunch of stuff. And he mentioned that it reminded him of a certain scene from Sons of Anarchy. And he's totally right. As soon as he said that, I was like, oh, shoot. So if you haven't seen Sons of Anarchy, spoiler alert real quick. Have you guys seen it?
Oh, fuck. 4 times.
Okay, there you
No,
go.
but that's
No? Of course you haven't. Get out of here.
Of course I haven't.
I'm done.
Oh, no. Raylub.
But anyway, in that dope-ass show that Caleb hasn't seen, I guess you're not going to watch it, whatever. So there's a character named Opie, and he's best friends with the main character, Jax. And they both go to prison together. Again, spoiler alert.
That was crazy.
And at one point...
Fuck off.
Shut the hell up.
They were wrongfully accused.
Well, I think it was pretty rightfully accused, but they killed a lot of people. But anyway, Jax gets separated by Opie, and Jax is stuck watching through a glass window as Opie is being jumped by another gang in prison, just beating him to death with lead pipes, and it's just brutal. And he just has to watch his best friend get killed in front of him violently like that. And so he said that, and I was like, oh, immediately. Yeah, that's the Opie scene. So, yeah, it was tough. It was tough seeing him just, going down like that. And that Opie scene was
one
brutal,
of the most sad scenes I've seen in any show. That was so rough. God.
Dude.
But when Jax goes and takes revenge on that security guard.
Yes.
Let's go. You love the revenge.
One of the best.
You love the revenge.
Oh,
yes.
my God.
That's one thing that show does great, and it's revenge scenes like that where you're just like, oh, yeah! Like,
totally. Whoa. No words.
What? Say it.
He's a good guy, I swear. Okay. We've covered the majority of the episode. Let's cover finale predictions real quick and theories, because a few theories popped up in the old noggin while watching the series for the next couple of days. One of them came from the internet. I'm not ashamed to admit it, but a couple of them are pretty natural that I was just thinking of. So let's go to theories real quick, and then we'll give our quick finale predictions. So JD, do you got one you want to throw out?
Yeah, so they're occupying the planet like above, right? And they sent their little squad down to go scout the planet.
Yeah.
Dude, the occupying fleet above the planet is just going to get destroyed. Done.
Yeah.
Dunzo.
It doesn't look good for them.
And then I'll just say Thrawn. I'll just go with that.
Love said it would never happen, but I believe it.
No.
Yeah, I'll go with
Dude, so
Thrawn's going to put Moff Gideon in his place. That's my other theory.
It was funny when Bo was asking everyone who wants to go, it was literally all the main characters.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, whoever's in space is fucked.
Just screwed.
Because no one significant is up there.
Yeah. So, Love, we talked about a theory last night before the movie. I'm going to let you go because I've kind of had a change of heart with that theory. So why don't you lead off? We'll see. I'm leaning more towards something else. It's 40-60, but okay. Go ahead. What's your theory?
So obviously, like you said earlier, the title is The Spies. We have Elia and the pirates. Did we kind of talk about the pirate? I think the Mando pirates were working for Moff Gideon as well.
Well, if you're just going to ruin my theory, then I mean...
Okay, well, my bad. Okay, let me start over then.
It's fine. Just go, man. Just go.
I think the main spy, the James Bond of these Mando spies, is the armorer. Okay? Mm-hmm. So, like we said, she has the same horns, mm-hmm. and she just conveniently left right before they met up with, went to go to the forge.
Right.
And Death Watch was mentioned in this episode as well. Someone asked her, were you a member of Death Watch?
Death Watch is dead.
And also, Gideon knew that Bo had the Darksaber.
Yeah, which is weird.
Which is another thing. Like, the last he knew, Din had it. And she was standing behind that door, and you could only see her head.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in contact with someone who knows that. And that ties it all back into her being so accepting of Bo and wanting her to be this leader to bring all the Mandalorians together back to Mandalore. And also, no one knows her name and who she is. Even, like I mentioned in the other episode, Paz Vizla calls her the Armorer. You think he would know her name of all people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
And I'll throw in a couple more to boost your theory a little bit. The score that kept playing every time she said, "I'll take the survivors back," it was ominous. It wasn't heroic or anything. Like, it was ominous. They kept lingering on her ship as it was driving through the clouds, and nothing came from that the whole time. She just flew back to the ship, but it kept having this suspenseful score and this camera work where it was making you feel like there was something weird going on here, something a little fishy. Obviously, like you said, she leaves, the Imperials activate the trap, and she's the one who told Bo to go gather all the Mandalorians. She is the one who, engineered that entire plan of get all these Mandalorians together for the first time in decades. Even Moff Gideon responds to Elia when she says he goes, "They're enemies." Wait, what do you mean? Which, I don't know, that kind of debunks part of this theory, because wouldn't he have known that? But it makes it seem like, the Armor straight up got all these Mandalorians united in the same place for the first time since the Purge. And so that's pretty suspicious right there.
Maybe he can't believe that she pulled it off when she says that, but he's playing it cool at the same time.
Could be.
He's like, thinking, oh crap, she actually got all the Mandalorian together.
Could be. So if it's not, again, that was the first thing, like we were talking about last night. I was like, oh, it's the Armor, bro. I still don't really trust her because we don't know a lot about her, and that's super suspicious. But I kind of think it could be a red herring now. I kind of think they might have done that on purpose. They're making you think it's the Armorer. But in reality, like you said, I think it's the pirates, first off. It's a likely thing because they literally are the ones who led them to the Great Forge. They came across them and they said, "We'll take you to the Great Forge." And in the Great Forge is the Imperial base. How the hell would they not see that base being built, be near it, seeing people around it, if they knew where the forge was like that? So they literally are the ones that led them into the trap. And then the other half of them went up with the Armor to the light cruiser. So now if they are spies, they can disable the shields from within the ship, and then Moff can just wipe them all out of the sky with no problem. Now they got spies on the inside up there, and the ones down on the surface led them into the trap. So that's my number one theory at this point. My last possibility is it's Axe Woves, because he wasn't in the season 2 finale on Moff Gideon's light cruiser when they arrested him. He actually was not there. He's flying around the light cruiser now, and he dipped out right. I think there was something else in this episode. I think he dipped out right when the attack was happening. And as soon as he
flew back to send word.
He said, "I'll go get reinforcements," or whatever. And he got out of there. So I'm more so feeling like I'm going with Pirates number 1, but I feel like the Armor could be a red herring and it's actually going to be Axe Woves.
That's not as cool though.
It's not, but it's Disney. So I'm kind of feeling like that's what they're going to do. I would prefer it to be the Armor, honestly, but like I said earlier, I don't think she's making all the Beskar alloy for the Stormtroopers, but maybe she showed them how to work it, whoever needed to do it. And then, because she's the only one constructing Beskar armor right now at this point. She's the only person who knows how to work it, how to smith it. So I don't know. There's a lot of arrows pointing at the Armor with that stuff. But I think the Pirates and Axe Woves are very much possible. And then I have one more theory. Din's dying next episode. We'll just cut to the chase.
Well, is that a finale prediction or a theory? Is this
prediction? We'll go right into the finale predictions. I think Din's gonna die. We've been seeing Grogu and Bo interacting way more, kind of showing that they're cool with each other. Grogu was even on Bo's lap this episode. They seem to be pretty tight. And again, the theme music, I don't think that was coincidence. So I think Mando dies, and the Mandalorians are forced to hide in the mines, and Bo and Grogu will attempt to tame the mythosaur that is underneath the surface in order to get the upper hand on them, because Grogu has that beast stuff. We've talked about it before about, using the Force to tame beasts, and Bo and him have been hanging out. So I think Din's going to die, and that's going to be the next step to this mission.
Okay. I agree in a way.
JD, let's go with you.
If that happens and Grogu has to witness it, I will be a wreck.
God.
I won't be able to watch it if it happens in front of Grogu. And second of all, fuck Disney and fuck the show. I will fucking boycott the next season. No, I really won't. But fuck the show if this happens. Like,
you won't be on the pod anyways.
Just because Pedro Pascal is a diva and he doesn't fuck off, and just because he's having these like disagreements with creative, you're just gonna kill off his character and move on. Like, people are not gonna be okay with that at all.
No,
like that way to do Last Jedi 2.0. Let's kill fucking Din off in the 3rd season of 5.
Did you see Brendan Wayne's post, though, on the story? So
yeah,
the guy under the Mando armor, he posted, you guys have been asking for more, and I believe he said, you're going to wish you hadn't. This episode will break you, or something like that. I forget exactly what he said.
It hurt.
Oh, shit.
It hurt too much.
I'm gonna quote it exactly, because like he said, this one, you were asking for stuff to happen, you're going to regret it, because this one's going to be tough to handle. So he did.
Disney doesn't have the balls to kill off Din. I don't think he'll die, even though I think that'd be a pretty epic ending. But I think the thing he's talking about is us witnessing the whole fleet occupying that planet. They're all going to die.
So, yeah, it's likely to, for sure. I think Din dying is still on the lesser of 50%, but I think
it'd be epic.
I think it's.
I would give huge props if they pulled that off. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Not that I want to see him die, just the fact that it's the Empire.
Do it.
There are some serious consequences to going against the Empire.
Yeah.
You know who I think is gonna die with a better chance? Moff Gideon. I hope so. He's done. He's excommunicado.
I hope. Yeah. He's fine. Again, he's fine. But now with the Mandalorian armor too, I don't know. It's weird. There's been a lot of theories on the internet saying that he was a Mandalorian and he was a part of the Mandalorian crew when Maul led. But I don't think so. I think he even stated, like, he's kind of got that Thrawn vibe. He defeats his opponents and then he collects their culture as trophies, essentially. So I don't think he's Mandalorian, but that's a rumor going around.
I have a prediction that Boba Fett will show up in the finale somehow.
Yeah, I heard he's going to show up and just absolutely tear shit up and save the day kind of deal.
Right.
Which he needs a redemption.
And also,
they made him look weak as hell on that show.
Right?
He does.
Yeah.
I didn't even consider Boba Fett. Yeah, they're closely tied to freaking got a whole Grogu episode in Boba Fett. So, they at least thought of it. That'd be a cool thing because he totally needs redemption, dude. The Boba Fett that we saw in the OG trilogy, he's a badass. Like, he's such a cool character. But his show sucked. But it'd be really cool to see him come in and wreck shop in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, he owes Din.
One seismic charge.
Yes, please. He owes him one, though. Din showed up and saved Tatooine. Like he came and started using the Darksaber and helped him out. So, yeah. For sure, favorite episode of the season. Like you said, JD, I think this is probably top 5 all Mandalorian episodes for me. They just did really well with this one. It felt like it was a culmination of multiple storylines, even stuff that started in season 1. And it was just finally a return to that quality form that everybody fell in love with this show for. It finally felt like it was back to where they should be with it. So it's just a bummer. It took us 7 episodes to get here, but it was enjoyable. And I think the finale is going to be just as good.
Me too.
Yeah. And it's even tying in with the wider universe.
Yeah.
Because we just got this Ahsoka trailer with Thrawn.
Mm-hmm.
And now in this Mando episode, they're talking about Thrawn. So it's cool that kind of get this overarching villain. Things are happening and there's a future for Star Wars.
And
totally.
That movie coming out, I guarantee, is titled Heir to the Empire. I'm so confident after this episode.
Right.
Yeah. Which, God, that's going to get me hyped even more.
Yeah.
But, yeah. They're doing a good job at setting up not cinematic, but the universe, the Mandoverse. I don't know why I'm trying to think of a new name. It's the Mandoverse. Yeah, they're doing a really good job, though, at tying it up, and I'm very excited for Wednesday. So, obviously, we will be here and ready and excited to cover the finale of Mando Season 3. So yeah, if you agree with our theories or predictions, let us know on Instagram or Twitter or TikTok or YouTube or our email, whysoinsidious@yahoo.com. Or if you have any different theories or predictions, let us know. Shoot it into the comments, tag us, whatever you want to do. Let us know what you think. So for now, that'll do it for us here at Why So Sidious a Nerd Podcast. Thank you to my co-hosts Jeremy Darr and Caleb Culver for joining me. And thank you to the audience for joining us here to listen to another episode. And we look forward to seeing you next time on Why So Sidious a Nerd Podcast.